Gemini, hello and welcome to As I See It Tarot. Thank you for clicking on this video. As you probably know and heard a million times, but if you haven't already, please click the like button, click the subscribe to my channel, and click on the notification buttons. Those are all YouTube algorithms that help promote YouTube channels to wider audiences. You won't notice much of a difference other than a little icon that pops up in on your channel, but you won't be bombarded with stuff. It just really is about YouTube's ability to promote channels to wider audiences. So I'm relatively a new channel. I would appreciate your support if you see fit. I would appreciate it. Thank you in advance, and happy Thanksgiving this month. This is a 5-card tarot card reading for overall energy, reading for the time between November 16th through the 30th of 2020. It's a general reading for the larger collective of Geminis, and it's intended for informational purposes. The information, Geminis may not resonate with every Gemini, of course, and that's typically okay. Please take what fits and let the rest go. To save time, I already shuffled the cards and requested that the universe provide guidance, and the cards selected were ejected on their own during the shuffle. 5 cards that were exited during that shuffle for this overall energy reading are lined up here. This first card here represents the overall energy of your past influences. This is past energies that were occurring, major energies that were occurring within the last few months for the collective of Geminis. In some cases, those energies may have resolved. In other cases, they may still be lingering. The second card here represents the overall energy during this current period, so your present energy. The third card here represents the overall energy for future energies during this period. So these are things that are on the cusp, or things that will be coming up that should be coming up for some during this time period of the end of November. The fourth card here represents the overall energy challenges that come up. Keep in mind that these don't imply that these challenges are anything negative. Sometimes it's provided as general information, but in most cases, you're usually presented some sort of option, and it's your choice using free will of what options you choose to take. And the fifth card here represents the overall energy for any sort of outcomes that can be expected during this time frame for the overall collective of Geminis. So, with our past influences here, we have the King of Swords here. Angels and Spirit guides, please help us understand what the King of Swords here is for Gemini and their past influences for this reading period, please. Well, Geminis, we know that the King of Swords here is a symbol of intellectual power, and typically it's an authority figure. The King of Swords represents courage and definitely an intellect, and uses those to sort of achieve in anything he sets his heart on to desire, or what he wants to accomplish. I'm picking up here that the King of Swords here was showing up for many Geminis during this past few months as their past influences, because you were in a position of some sort of power, ruling from a place of authority and respect. You demonstrated that you were standing firm to your truth, and you were able to express yourself with that deep conviction, and others were paying attention to you, particularly what you had to say. Now, this could have been work-related. I'm not picking up of any specific situation that this was carried out. So it could have been, perhaps you're working on a family project, you were working on something for yourself, you were working on a work project or a committee or a church group or something, just some sort of, whatever it is that you might have been working on, you did it with a good authority, and you did it with a lot of conviction. I'm picking up that for many Geminis during this period that you definitely felt that you had a clarity of mind, and you were seeking the truth. So many of you took the lead to search out something and to provide an objective view of whatever it is that you were working on, and to make sure that the appropriate decisions were made on whatever project or activity that you were involved in. Were done with an impartial judgment. I'm picking up that for Geminis, many of you were in the position that you could really judge the situation appropriately, and you were able to identify the limiting behaviors that perhaps were getting in the way from that whatever you were working on to achieve. You demonstrated sort of a masterful maintaining of your emotions, and you were able to balance them between your intellectual and mental clarity as you were sort of seeking the truth. Many Geminis, you were able to cut right to the point and get to the heart of the matter with a lot of efficiency. Um, perhaps some thought, perhaps those around you might thought, or you may have come across as being not caring or sympathetic. However, it's this detachment that you were sort of able to draw upon that served you well in this period to make the right decisions. The King of Swords here encourages Geminis that you used your logic and your intellect to navigate a path, and that it encouraged you to research and search out the best decisions or the best paths to make the right decision, particularly in dealing with others. And I'm picking up that many of you were able to take this to heart, and that if you were able to complete whatever you were working on, you did so quite well, and you did so with using a balanced and insightful decision process. And you got a lot of, I think people around you respected that. For other Geminis, I'm picking up another energy here is that some of the King of Swords can represent sort of a professional advisor or a solicitor or attorney, or perhaps a tax consultant or a financial advisor, anyone in sort of a consulting role. Typically, when the King of Swords represents that sort of profession or skill, the person has a solid reputation and lots of knowledge in that particular field, and also is able to demonstrate sort of impartiality to draw upon their own experiences, and have a better understanding of rules and systems and structures of whatever it is that you're working on, to make sure that you have the best decisions and make the right choices, or at least lead you to help you make the right choices. So I'm picking up that some Geminis, you may have actually served in that role as well, perhaps. And on the other hand, some of you Geminis may have sought out consultation from such a person during this past few months on a particular idea or project or whatever interest that you had. Well, again, whether it was you either providing this sort of mentorship or consultingship, or you that sought it out, you were able to get relevant guidance from this person, and you trusted their expertise and their qualifications. But the specialist was very helpful to you in some way, whether it was a paid professional or a volunteer professional. I'm not picking that up, but you sought advice from somebody who you thought was helpful. In other cases, I'm picking up that some Geminis were perhaps were seeking out legal or financial advice during the last few months, and this could be because of the impact of COVID-19. If you had lost your job or lost hours of work, or had some sort of financial impact that was you were experiencing it because of the COVID-19, many of the Geminis were seeking out sort of professional assistance of how to go to get through that process, and whether to pay your mortgages or your rent or whatever else. But you sought out sort of the best consulting of how to maneuver through those challenges, and I'm picking up most likely was due to COVID-19. In our present energy, we have a major arcana card here. We have the Empress. in the upright position. Angel and Spirit Guides, please help us understand why the Empress is here in the present energy for Geminis during this time period, please. Well, Gemini's the Empress here signifies sort of a strong conviction to sort of the softer side or the feminine side. This isn't gender based. It's just a softer side of dealing with things. The femininity translates in many ways. It could be sort of how one expresses themselves through sensuality, through fertility. Could be through a nurturing behavior or a creative expression. Um, and it's you're many Geminis, you're demonstrating that because it's necessary in creating sort of a balance between men and women. The Empress is calling upon Geminis to connect with your feminine energy right now. It's about creating beauty in your life and connecting with your senses, through taste and sound and smell and touch and sight. You're being asked to draw upon these senses and to fully experience pleasure and deep fulfillment. I'm picking up the universe is asking you to sort of treat yourself to a day of luxury in whatever you can afford or whatever that means to you. It could be about just a day spa. It could be learning massage or going out to a fine restaurant to eat or just spending more time with your partner or children or your friends, some quality time. This is about, the message to you Geminis is about discovering sort of different approaches to expressing yourself creatively. And this also could be through painting, music, drama, or other art forms. But the universe is suggesting or encouraging you to participate in sort of this self-care, I guess, is what I'm picking up here. And encouraging you to sort of access that part of you that makes up your personality. I'm also picking up, that the Empress here typically represents abundance, and some Geminis, you could be currently surrounded by all the things that you treasure and all your life pleasures and luxuries of whatever they may be. And some of you are perhaps feel you are living a very comfortable lifestyle, and you are in a period of growth in which perhaps you have everything that you dreamed of, and or they're coming together for you. So for Geminis who are doing well and feeling sort of this contentment and this comfortable lifestyle, the Empress is going to appear here. In your present energy as a moment to encourage you to reflect upon the bounty that surrounds you, and to make sure that you are thankful and grateful for all that you have, and don't forget to have those sort of daily meditations to be thankful for the smallest things, because that's what's going to provide the most meaning and the most success. Is demonstrate your gratitude for all that you've created and that you have, and then it's going to encourage you to build upon that energy, because by doing so, Geminis, you're going to create even more abundance in your life and at all levels. The Empress here also represents sort of a Mother Earth archetype. So when the Empress here is encouraging Geminis in this present energy for you to sort of venture out into nature. It's about grounding your energy and going with the flow with the earth, and sort of taking that appreciation of just walking outside and saying, I appreciate the trees, I appreciate the sky, I appreciate the birds, whatever it is things that we take for granted every day. This is encouraging you to remember those things that you take for granted every day and to be thankful for them. You could be encouraged to go to your favorite place in your yard, or a park, or a natural setting, any place, forest, beach, a mountain, or a lake, and just sit for a couple of minutes or even hours, or whatever you feel you need. And it's just about calming and taking the deep breath that external energy, that nature's energy, and surrounding yourself with sort of or the beauty of nature that is around you, and appreciating that. I'm picking up sort of like the old saying, you got to stop and smell the roses. This is about pausing. It, or you can even call it daily meditating, for 10 or less than 10 minutes or whatever, just to sort of, put your energies in balance. The universe here, Gemini's, is encouraging you to take the time and, to find the space, to be able to go and experience a different frame of mind and receive that sort of grounding spirit that nature will bring you, especially to your heart and to your consciousness. When you become mindful of this, and if you practice it, Geminis, you're going to reach, a lot higher plane of consciousness, and bring even a better perspective to your days. This is about, Geminis, being in tune with your energy. And the Empress here in this reading for your present energy, this is encouraging you to take on that sort of Mother Nature role. Many Geminis, you're going to feel strong urge to sort of nurture and care for others. And this is coming from a loving place of compassion, and particularly in support, which is important. You want to, share that gift of love and that compassion to others. And in doing so, you're going to benefit from it. So, in a more literal sense, you may step into the role of a mother, perhaps for a newborn, or a caretaker to other people's children, or spending quality time with your own kids, or, and just some situation where you're taking on sort of that mothering role that's nurturing and caring. It could be a pet. The Empress here is suggesting, and for some, pregnancy or birth, and it may not be you specifically, Geminis, but somebody perhaps this may be an actual pregnancy or childbirth, or for others, it could be a metaphorical sort of birth of a new idea or a project. This is about bringing creative ideas, and nurturing them and supporting them to grow, and allow those creative designs to have a manifestation to flow through you, using compassion and love. And it ties in very much to that creative energy of your King of Swords here and your past influences. In your future energies, we have the Ten of Swords, but we have it in reverse here. Angel and Spirit guides, please help us understand for our Geminis why the Ten of Swords is in reverse position for their future challenges, please. Well, Geminis, the Ten of Swords here in reverse indicates that for some Geminis, you realize there's a change coming, but you're sort of fighting it. It's either a change or there's an ending of something, and you're sort of fighting it because you're not ready to face up to what's happening regarding this sort of change or this ending. The universe is picking up here in the Ten of Swords in reverse, is basically sharing with you that the more you resist this change or this ending, the longer the situation is going to carry on. So the universe is sending a message that change or an ending is coming, and to accept it. And it's sort of, well, I'm picking it very bluntly, it's about ripping the bandage off, no matter how painful it's going to be, to get this over with, because until you address this issue, whatever it is, it's going to linger, and it's going to stop you from fulfilling and going further in your life. So the universe is sharing with you, Geminis, in this future energies, that to trust that everything is happening for a reason, even though whatever it is you may feel is too difficult to understand, and perhaps you're not sure what's going on, but trust that this is leading you to personal growth and a regeneration for the long term. The universe has your back on this. In other cases, for some Geminis, the Ten of Swords in reverse may represent sort of an old situation that ended badly, and you're still carrying around the wounds from it. Perhaps you buried it, or you sort of repressed it, that you didn't realize that it was still there. and perhaps holding you and hurting you. Often these things sort of resurface because something triggers it. So you could have seen an old boyfriend or girlfriend, or you know, something that triggers a memory for you at some point in your lifetime, and because you haven't necessarily dealt with it. And this is sending the energy for you, Geminis, that are experiencing this repressed sort of feeling, that the universe is saying you need to address it, you need to acknowledge it, and you need to release it. You don't have to forget it, but you have to let it go because it's no longer serving you. And that's the universe's message there, is to let go old hurts because they're no longer serving you. And forgive and move on. For others, I'm picking up too that the reverse Ten of Swords here also encourages you to sort of to reevaluate your circumstances and to let go of any aspect of your life that's no longer serving you. And so much like, letting go of old hurts, this is if Gemini, if you're dwelling on sort of a painful past, it's the universe is basically giving you the message to look ahead and realize how these events can free you up and perhaps reshape your life, and even perhaps chose a new direction for yourself. And the trick is, did you learn anything from those mistakes or those painful past? It's about freeing yourself from your past to create a new sense of self, and that's what you're being allowed to do. The Ten of Swords here, the message I'm getting here is to encourage you, Gemini, to see this as a welcome sign. That if you are experiencing sort of pain and sadness that's been triggering and coming back, to let you know that the feeling will end. So when the swords are in this reverse position here, it's the message here is about releasing pain and any hurt that you're suffering from. And to understand that releasing these memories of pain and hurt from the past, you're allowing yourself the opportunity to move forward with a sense of renewal and hope for your future. And the universe is saying enough's enough. Let it go and just release it. Just acknowledge it and go, I release the following pains, blah, 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 blah. I'm free from it. And you'll be quite amazed how you feel. Think about the laws of attraction. In our fourth card, which is our challenges for this energy period, we have another reverse. We have the Three of Swords, but we have it in reverse. Angel and Spirit Guides, please help us understand why the Three of Swords is in reverse for Geminis during this overall energy reading period, please. Well, I'm picking up that this is very much tied to your future energies in this period here. This is about, for many Geminis, I'm picking up that this Three of Swords here in reverse is encouraging, Geminis to pay attention to your inner thoughts and your own self-talk. It's reminding you to understand that your words are powerful, especially if you repeat those words to yourself day after day. For many of you, you may be sort of prone to self-criticism, and when you do that, you're limiting your beliefs and you're creating sort of a negative self-talk. And going back to the laws of attraction, if you think negative thoughts, you're attracting negative energy. So, I'm picking up that this is a sort of energy that we grow up with, that an example would be, perhaps you have that inner mean girl or inner mean boy who's constantly sort of telling you that you're not good enough, or you can't do this, or you're not attractive enough, or you're not brave enough, or whatever. It's about that self-doubt that you picked up somewhere along in your lifetime. The universe is saying that when you hear these sort of negative thoughts about self-doubt, you're limiting yourself, and you have to ask yourself, would you ever utter these things to somebody else that you know of? This sort of self-talk things that you're telling yourself, would you say to other people? And if you wouldn't, then the message here is stop saying it to yourself. and the universe is encouraging you through this Three of Swords in reverse to shift your thoughts towards a more positive uh, attraction, and and look at things to reinforce your confidence. Because trust, Geminis, that if you are feeling this, for those that this is targeted to you in this message, trust that you have what it takes to be the person you want to be. You're the one who's not seeing it. Everybody else does. And on the other hand, I'm also picking up that if you're Geminis and you happen to be hypersensitive to others' words, because you're too hypersensitive, this message is about developing a thicker skin. And again, much like your future energies here about letting go, you have to let go of hurt that these words are causing you. Because again, these hurtful words or the self-doubt is holding you back. And it's encouraging you to do some sort of self-reflection about where these negative thoughts came from, and putting them in perspective, and asking yourself what's triggering these feelings and why right now. And address within yourself, what's the underlying issue. So right now, if an example would be that if you have a friend who's accusing you of something, perhaps that you're being selfish about something, the message here is sort of look within yourself to see where you might be acting selfishly. If this behavior is no longer serving you, then let it go. Or if you're being overly jealous or overly sensitive, or you're in a new relationship and you have to know where the person's going every 5 minutes and you're panicking, you sort of have to ask yourself, why is that occurring for you? Because that is going to hold you back, and it's going to be detrimental to any sort of relationship that you're trying to be in. So the reversal here is the universe's way of saying and encouraging you to let go of these negative self-talk. They're no longer serving you, Gemini, and you will succeed and do so much better by just simply identifying them and letting them go. Say it to yourself out loud and just say, I acknowledge the following and I release it, and it no longer serves me. Do that for a couple of days and you will feel dramatically different. So I'm picking up here, in this, why it's coming up in this current energy reading right now, is because the universe, for many of you, is saying that you finally reached a point where you can let it go. It's encouraging you to let any sort of these negative thoughts go. I'm also picking up there are some Geminis, that I'm picking up that there are some Geminis who are finding it very hard to move on, or to let go because of some sort of recent loss or a heartbreak. If you're a Gemini who's having a difficulty moving on from some sort of recent loss, whether it was a death or some sort of breakup, the reversed Three of Swords here is saying that you're still suffering from an earlier loss, and that you need to go through those emotional purgings. In other words, you need to free yourself from the past. So you need to, if you haven't been addressing it and you sort of just let it go and like, oh, it doesn't really bother me, but it really is bothering you. This is saying where you need to have a good cry. You need to experience the emotion that you are denying yourself, and once you experience that emotion, because you denied it, or you didn't want to show it, or you didn't want to feel it, you will move on from it and you will feel better. So this is sort of just the opposite. If you experience something of a loss or a breakup and you didn't show it and you just sort of dived into your work and kept yourself busy, this is saying pause for a moment, experience that loss, have a good cry, eat some ice cream, do whatever you need to do, and get it out of your system, get messy, get your whatever all blurry and nose runny, and just have the emotion, because you will feel better after you have the emotion. You will survive it, you will learn from it, and you will grow from it. And the universe is saying you need to do it in order to maintain a healthy balance and you don't want to carry that into another relationship. So this is about allowing yourself to experience pain, give yourself the right to grieve and release that heartache, because it's going to open the doors for new experiences. And for those that are in this particular situation, the reverse Three of Swords is asking yourself, in what ways am I suffering? What am I most sorrowful about, and what can I do to release the pain and learn from it? So, for those Geminis that are experiencing challenges, such as this due to relationships, the reverse Three of Swords here serves as a reminder to be the peacemaker and to always think before you speak, so that you won't regret what you said later, and never be afraid to say you're sorry. So this may not resonate with all Geminis, but it's an energy I'm picking up that's it's calling out to someone in Gemini. So, you know, grieve and move on, and you'll do better. And finally, in our outcomes, we have the Hierophant, which is a major arcana card, and it's in reverse. Angel and Spirit Guides, please help us understand why the Hierophant is in reverse for the major energy outcomes for this period for our Geminis, please. Well, Gemini's, the Hierophant here is in your outcomes for this energy reading because it's reminding you that you're your own teacher. It's reminding you that wisdom that you often seek comes from within, and not necessarily from an external source of power. For many Geminis, you may feel that you're being guided to follow sort of your own path and to adopt your own spiritual belief systems instead of blindly following somebody else's. For some of you, may feel this unsettling at first, as you sort of are making your way or breaking away from past and trying to look for something new. The universe is saying, be patient. Over time, you will learn to trust yourself and tap into that inner knowledge. People around you may question your motivations, and because you're going against some sort of tradition. But the universe is saying for you to know deep down that it's occurring for a reason for you, and now is the time to do such. Let go of whatever traditions that aren't serving you as well, so that you can experience new. The reverse Hierophant comes up when something is no longer serving you, and you don't need external approvals to succeed. This is basically encouraging the universe's way of encouraging you to know that you can go it alone and do it on your own in your own way, and you will be fine. This is about giving yourself permission to trust your inner guidance system, so you can create your own path. The Hierophant in reverse is also about challenging the status quo. It's because you're seeing alternative ways to view something, or the view of the world, or a project, or an idea, or a relationship, and you're ready to test your own ideas and sort of determine your own concepts that fit you, and not perhaps what was handed down to you. It's about finding your own truth. So this is encouraging you that if you choose, you no longer have to abide by rigid structures or traditions or sort of a dogma that surrounded you in your past. If you choose, it's encouraging you to seek out new opportunities to sort of rebel and to reclaim your personal power. This is particularly if you're feeling restricted or constrained and have lost your sort of sense of freedom and flexibility. The universe is saying now is the time to make your own set of rules, as appropriate, of course. The reverse Hierophant encourages Geminis to examine the way that you do things around here. Or, how are you? Just ask questions. You don't have to be an autopilot anymore or follow the crowd. This is about your ability to see that change needs to be made, and perhaps the change needs to be made within you. The Hierophant in reversed is, if you think of it, like a rebellious teenager who begins sort of to question society and take part in anti-institutional activities. Now, this does not mean you're going to break the law, by no means. It just means you're questioning things, and you're asking questions at this point for some reason, because you have, for some reason, it's triggering it. So, it's encouraging that for Geminis, if you're experiencing this sort of what if or why is this or what's happening, to go with it and to explore it, um, because you'll learn from it and you can let go of things that no longer serve you, which could be here as well. Um, uh, and by doing so, by opening and freeing yourself from those constrictions, you're going to see things in a whole new perspective, and you're going to be more confident and more self-assured. And uh, it's really about being your own person. So, Geminis, that is the overall energy reading for November 15th through the 30th of 2020. I thank you very much for watching this video. If you'd like to support this channel, as I said at the beginning, please, to help the YouTube algorithms, they depend on this, and I depend on your support by clicking what I call the big three, which is like the video. Click on the subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If you have, thank you. And click on the notification button. Those three key triggers or algorithms that YouTube uses to broadcast and serve channels to a wider audience in their system. And I'm a new channel, as I said, and I would appreciate your support. If you have supported that, thank you so very much. Geminis, please feel free to leave a comment if you felt any part of this reading was applicable to you. And again, if it didn't resonate with you or part of it didn't resonate with you, it's totally okay. Just let it go and leave it for somebody else. Just it means that reading wasn't meant for you at this time. So Geminis, thank you so much. Hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and we'll see you in December.